And that brings you to this moment, the one your spirit has been trying to prepare you for. You have felt it, haven't you? That quiet unease, that subtle tension you could never fully explain, the sense that something beneath the surface was not aligning with what you were being shown. You tried to give the benefit of the doubt, you tried to see the good, you tried to silence the whisper inside you, but it never truly went away. Listen closely now, because this is where everything begins to make sense. The person you have been trusting, the one you opened your heart to, the one you believed was walking beside you in truth, is not who they appear to be. And before fear rises, understand this: this is not being revealed to harm you, but to protect you. What if the discomfort you have been feeling was not confusion, but divine warning? What if every moment of doubt was actually guidance, trying to redirect you before something deeper could wound you? You are not losing anything real, you are being shown what was never fully honest to begin with. This is the turning point you didn't realize you were standing in. What feels like shock is actually clarity breaking through illusion. What feels like loss is actually protection closing a door that was never meant to lead you forward. Stay with me, because what is about to be uncovered will explain why things never quite added up, why your peace was disrupted, and why your spirit kept resisting even when your heart wanted to stay. Do not dismiss this message as coincidence, because it is meeting you exactly where your questions have been lingering. There is a reason this truth is surfacing now and not before. Timing matters, and you are finally strong enough to see clearly without losing yourself in the process. So ask yourself honestly, why did your spirit hesitate when everything else seemed fine? Why did peace feel conditional instead of constant? The answer is closer than you think, and in the next moments, it will. And now, before you rush ahead, pause for a moment and breathe. This message has not found you by accident, and you are not here by coincidence. There is a stillness being offered to you right now, a quiet space where truth can reach you without distortion. Let everything else fall silent, just for a moment, because what you are about to receive requires your presence, not your panic. You have been carrying noise that was never yours to carry. Opinions, expectations, mixed signals, emotional confusion, all of it layering over your inner knowing until you began to question yourself. But deep within you, beneath the noise, there has always been clarity waiting. You sensed something was off, even when you could not prove it, even when you tried to convince yourself otherwise. This is your invitation to return to that place. Not the anxious version of you that overthinks every detail, but the grounded version of you that recognizes truth when it stands in front of you. There is a difference between chaos and clarity, and right now you are being gently pulled away from chaos and guided back into clarity. And hear this clearly, this message is for you. Not for someone else, not for a different time, not for a future version of you who has everything figured out. It is for you as you are right now, in the middle of your questions, your uncertainty, and your emotional tension. You are not too late, and you are not too early. You are exactly where you need to be to receive this. The confusion you have been feeling is not random. It is alignment. It is the friction between what is real and what is being revealed. When truth begins to surface, it often feels uncomfortable before it feels freeing. That tension in your chest, that restless questioning, it has been pointing you here all along. So do not rush past this moment. Do not distract yourself or minimize what you feel. Instead, stay present, because what you have been unable to explain is about to be named. The weight you have been carrying silently is about to be understood in a way that brings relief, not fear. Because in the next part, what you have been sensing without words will finally be brought into the light. The patterns, the emotional strain, the quiet doubts you kept pushing aside, they are not going to be dismissed anymore. You are about to see clearly what has been hidden in plain sight. And once you see it, everything begins to shift in a way you cannot unsee. We are moving forward together, and clarity will meet you right there. And this is where your truth begins to surface more clearly, because what you have been carrying has not been light. You have been strong for longer than most people realize, holding together emotions that felt like they were quietly unraveling beneath the surface. On the outside, you kept showing up, you kept giving, you kept believing, but inside, something has been weighing heavily on your spirit. You have been overthinking more than usual, replaying conversations, questioning actions, trying to make sense of things that never fully added up. It is exhausting, isn't it? That constant loop of wondering what you missed, what you misunderstood, or what you could have done differently. But the truth is, your spirit was not confused. It was alert. There is a difference between misunderstanding and misalignment, and what you have been feeling is not simply confusion. It is the quiet awareness that something has been off, even when you tried to convince yourself everything was fine. You gave chances when you should have paused. You extended grace when you needed boundaries. You chose patience, hoping clarity would come, but instead, the inconsistency remained. And that inconsistency has been draining you more than you have admitted. One moment things felt right, the next moment something shifted, leaving you questioning everything again. You found yourself adjusting, adapting, trying to meet them where they were, even when they were not meeting you with the same sincerity. That imbalance did not just affect your emotions, it affected your peace. You are someone who loves deeply, who commits sincerely, who shows up with intention. That is not your weakness, but it has been taken for granted in ways that left you depleted. You kept pouring into a space that was not consistently pouring back into you, and over time, that creates a quiet exhaustion that no one else can see. And then there are the moments you did notice the signs. The small things that did not sit right, the subtle shifts in energy, the words that did not align with actions. You saw them, but you questioned yourself instead. You wondered if you were overreacting, if you were being too sensitive, if you needed to be more understanding. So you stayed, even when part of you was asking deeper questions. This is the hidden battle you have been fighting. Not just with them, but within yourself. The tension between what you felt and what you hoped. The pull between your intuition and your attachment. That is not easy to carry, and yet you carried it quietly. But let me ask you something honestly, and sit with it for a moment. Why have you stayed this long? Not as judgment, but as reflection. Was it love, or was it the hope of who they could become? Was it connection, or was it the fear of letting go and starting again? And more importantly, what has it been costing you to remain in that space? Because while you were trying to hold everything together, something within you has been asking to be acknowledged. Your peace has been interrupted. Your clarity has been clouded. Your energy has been stretched thin. And yet, you kept going. You are not weak for staying. You are not foolish for believing. But you are now at a point where awareness is rising, and what has been hidden in your own heart is becoming impossible to ignore. And as this truth settles in, you are about to see something even deeper, something that explains not just how you feel, but why everything has been unfolding this way. And as that awareness begins to settle in, something deeper starts to come into focus. What you have been experiencing is not just a series of unfortunate circumstances or bad timing. It goes beyond that. What has been blocking you has been a misalignment, a quiet but persistent disconnect between who you are and what you have been holding on to. You thought the delay was external. You thought maybe it was timing, or pressure, or things needing to work themselves out. But the truth is, what felt like delay was often protection. What felt like being stuck was actually a pause, a restraint placed on your path so you would not move forward in the wrong direction. There is a difference between something that is slow growing and something that is not meant to grow at all. And what you have been holding onto has shown you signs, subtle at first, then undeniable, that it was not aligned with your peace, your truth, or your future. This is where the contrast becomes clear. On one side, There was confusion, inconsistency, emotional strain, and a constant need to question where you stood. On the other side, where you are being led now, there is clarity, steadiness, and a sense of inner alignment that does not require you to second-guess yourself. What once felt like a closed door was actually a blocked path. And now, something is shifting. Not in a chaotic way, but in a precise and intentional way. The same things that once felt heavy are beginning to feel clearer. The same patterns that once repeated are beginning to break. You are starting to see what you could not fully see before. And this is not about blaming the other person or labeling them in anger. This is about understanding truth. Their role in your life was not to complete your journey, but to reveal something essential along the way. What feels like loss begins to transform into insight. What felt like confusion begins to turn into clarity. You were not wrong for caring. You were not wrong for hoping. But you were placing trust in something that could not consistently hold it. And that is where the misalignment lived. Not in your heart, but in the space between what you gave and what was returned. Now something greater is taking place. The moment you begin to see clearly, you are no longer bound by what kept you in place. Awareness breaks cycles. Clarity dissolves confusion. Truth creates movement where there was once stagnation. This is where acceleration begins, but not the rushed, unstable kind. This is the kind of forward movement that feels grounded, that feels right, that aligns with your spirit instead of draining it. When something is truly aligned, it does not leave you in constant uncertainty. It brings a quiet confidence, even if everything is not fully revealed yet. And this is why this moment matters so much. Because what changes when you finally see clearly is everything. Your decisions change. Your boundaries strengthen. Your energy shifts. The way you interpret actions, words, and patterns becomes sharper, more grounded in truth rather than hope alone. You begin to recognize what is real and what is illusion. You stop chasing clarity from others and start trusting the clarity within yourself. And that is where your power has always been waiting. So what you thought was holding you back was actually holding you in place long enough for this realization to arrive. And now that it has, you are no longer standing in the same position you were before. Something has shifted within you, and that internal shift is about to be matched by something even greater around you. And as this shift begins to take root within you, it is important that you understand what is truly happening here, because this is not random, and it is not punishment. What you are experiencing is protection. What is being revealed to you now is not meant to break you, but to shield you from something that could have gone much deeper if it remained hidden. You may have questioned why things felt so difficult, why clarity did not come sooner, why your heart had to carry so much uncertainty. But there are moments when what is concealed must be uncovered at the right time, not the earliest time. Timing matters, because you needed the strength, the awareness, and the readiness to see without denying what is true. This is where you begin to understand the spiritual layer beneath everything you have been experiencing. Not everything is surface level. Not everything is just about behavior or communication. Sometimes there is a deeper tension, a spiritual misalignment that cannot be explained logically, but it can always be felt. And you felt it. That uneasiness, that inner hesitation, that sense that something was not fully right, even when things appeared acceptable on the outside. That was not weakness. That was discernment. That was your inner awareness trying to guide you, trying to protect you before something deeper took root. You were not unguarded, even when you felt vulnerable. You were being covered in ways you could not always see. Because protection does not always look like immediate removal. Sometimes it looks like delay. Sometimes it looks like discomfort. Sometimes it looks like confusion that keeps you from fully settling into something that is not meant for you. What was hidden is now being brought into light, and light does not expose to harm, it exposes to protect. It reveals so that you are no longer operating in uncertainty. It shows you what you need to see so that you can move forward with clarity instead of doubt. There is a difference between being open and being unprotected. You were open, you were sincere, you were genuine. But you were not abandoned in that openness. There has been a covering over your life that has prevented deeper damage, even when you did not fully understand it at the time. And now, that covering is becoming more visible through clarity. The same situation that once confused you is now beginning to make sense. The same person you once tried to understand is now being revealed more honestly, not through assumptions, but through patterns you can no longer ignore. This is not about fear. This is about awareness. Because when you see clearly, you are no longer easily misled. When you recognize truth, you are no longer bound to illusion. And that is where your protection becomes active, not just around you, but within you. Discernment becomes your shield. Not a shield that isolates you, but one that allows you to engage without losing yourself. One that helps you recognize what aligns and what does not, without needing constant reassurance from others. You are not being left vulnerable. You are being equipped. You are being strengthened. You are being guided into a space where you no longer have to question what your spirit already knows. And this is why this moment is so important, because now that you see, you cannot unsee. Now that you recognize, you cannot unknow. And with that awareness comes a decision. Because in the next step, you will be faced with a choice that determines your peace moving forward. And now you arrive at the moment that cannot be avoided anymore. This is the point where awareness becomes decision, where what you now see asks something of you. Because clarity, once received, does not leave you where it found you. It moves you. It calls you forward. It asks you to respond. You have seen enough to know that something is not aligned. You have felt enough to recognize that your peace has been disrupted for longer than it should have been. And now, standing here in this awareness, you are faced with a choice that only you can make. You can continue in confusion, holding on to what you hoped this connection would become, or you can step into clarity and honor what it has shown you it truly is. That is the tension you feel right now. Not just about them, but about yourself. About whether you will stay in what feels familiar, or move toward what is right. Because letting go is not always about losing a person. Sometimes it is about releasing the version of them you created in your heart. The potential you believed in. The future you imagined. The meaning you attached to every moment that felt real, even when it was not consistent. And that is where fear begins to speak. Fear tells you that walking away means starting over. Fear tells you that you might not find something better. Fear tells you that maybe you are expecting too much, that maybe this is as good as it gets. But listen carefully, because fear does not speak from truth, it speaks from attachment. Truth sounds different. Truth does not rush you, but it is steady. It does not confuse you, it clarifies. Truth reminds you that peace is not something you should have to fight for in the right connection. It reminds you that consistency is not too much to ask for. It reminds you that your worth does not decrease because someone else could not meet you where you stood. So now the question becomes deeper than just this person. It becomes about alignment. About whether you are willing to stand in truth, even when it requires you to release what is no longer aligned with you. You are not being asked to abandon love. You are being asked to redefine it. To understand that real connection does not leave you questioning your value. It does not drain your energy. It does not require you to shrink yourself just to maintain it. There is a version of you on the other side of this decision that feels lighter, clearer, more grounded in who you truly are. But you cannot step into that version while holding on to something that keeps pulling you out of alignment. This is where self-respect begins to rise. Quietly at first, but firmly. It reminds you that you deserve honesty. It reminds you that you deserve stability. It reminds you that you deserve a connection that does not leave you in constant emotional uncertainty. And yes, there may be a sense of loss. Not because you are losing something real, but because you are releasing something familiar. And familiarity can feel like safety, even when it is not. But peace is not found in familiarity. Peace is found in truth. So stand here for a moment and feel the weight of this decision, not as pressure, but as power. Because you are not stuck. You are not trapped. You are choosing. And this choice will shape what comes next. It will shape the energy you carry, the connections you allow, and the clarity you walk in moving forward. So ask yourself honestly, without fear, without denial, without hesitation. Are you ready to choose truth, even if it changes everything? And now that you have reached this point of decision, you are not meant to stay in reflection alone. Clarity is not just something you understand, it is something you apply. This is where your next steps begin to take shape, not in overwhelming changes, but in grounded, intentional shifts that bring you back into alignment with yourself. The first shift is learning to set boundaries where you once overextended. You have been someone who gives freely, who shows up fully, who invests deeply. But there is a difference between healthy giving and self-neglect. Boundaries are not rejection, they are protection. They are the quiet line that says, I will no longer allow what drains me to have unlimited access to me. Where you once said yes out of fear of losing connection, you now pause and ask, does this honor my peace? That question alone begins to change everything. The second shift is choosing clarity over assumption. You have spent too much time trying to interpret mixed signals, trying to fill in the gaps with hope instead of truth. But clarity does not come from guessing. It comes from observing patterns and accepting them as they are. When someone shows you inconsistency, believe it. When something feels misaligned, do not rush to explain it away. The old pattern was to create stories that made things easier to accept. The new alignment is to see what is real, even when it is uncomfortable. The third step is reconnecting with your intuition, the very voice you tried to quiet before. That inner knowing never left you. It was simply overshadowed by doubt and external noise. Now, you are being invited to trust it again. When something feels right, you will know without needing endless confirmation. And when something feels off, you will recognize it without needing proof. This is not about becoming guarded or distant. It is about becoming aware, grounded, and connected to your own truth. The fourth shift is releasing guilt, and this may be one of the most important. You have carried guilt for questioning, guilt for pulling back, guilt for even considering that something was not right. But guilt does not belong here. You are allowed to outgrow situations that no longer align. You are allowed to choose yourself without needing to justify it. The old pattern was to stay longer than necessary to avoid disappointing others. The new alignment is understanding that abandoning your peace is not an act of kindness, it is an act of self-betrayal. And finally, there is the shift of redirecting your energy. You have been pouring so much of yourself into trying to fix, understand, or stabilize something outside of you. Now, that energy returns to you. It begins to rebuild your clarity, your strength, your sense of direction. You stop chasing answers from others and start creating stability within yourself. This is where your power quietly returns. As you begin to apply these shifts, do not expect everything to change overnight, but do pay attention to what begins to move. You will notice moments where you respond differently instead of reacting. You will notice a sense of calm where there used to be anxiety. You will notice that what once felt confusing begins to feel obvious. These are not small changes. They are signs that you are stepping out of old patterns and into alignment. The more you honor these shifts, the more your environment will begin to reflect them back to you. And this is where something deeper starts to unfold. Because as you move differently, as you think differently, as you choose yourself in ways you did not before, you will begin to notice undeniable signs that confirm you are on the right path. Not forced signs, not imagined ones, but clear, grounded moments of realization that show you just how much has been shifting beneath the surface. So stay aware, stay present, and continue to move with intention, because what you are stepping into is not just change, it is transformation. And in the next part, you are going to anchor that transformation in a way that strengthens your spirit and solidifies your clarity even further. And now, as everything you have heard begins to settle within you, this is the moment to anchor it, not just in thought, but in declaration. Because what you speak carries power. What you agree with internally begins to shape what you experience externally. So do not stay silent in this moment. Step into it. Take a breath, slow and steady, and allow your spirit to come into alignment with truth. You are not here by accident. You are not receiving this message without purpose. You are here because something within you is ready to rise. Now say this with intention, whether out loud or within your heart. I choose truth. Say it again, I choose truth. Not comfort over clarity, not illusion over reality, but truth that frees me, truth that strengthens me, truth that restores me. Feel the shift in that. You are no longer passive. You are participating in your own alignment. Now declare this. I am protected. Say it again, I am protected. Not just from what I can see, but from what I could not see. I am covered, I am guided, and I am not exposed to harm without awareness being given to me. Let that settle. Because everything that has been revealed to you is evidence of that protection already at work in your life. Now speak this. I trust what I feel. Again, I trust what I feel. My intuition is not against me, it is for me. It does not confuse me, it guides me. I no longer silence the voice within me that recognizes what is real. This is where your authority begins to rise. Not authority over others, but authority within yourself. Now declare this clearly. I release what is not aligned with me. Say it again, I release what is not aligned with me. Not with fear, not with anger, but with clarity. I let go of what drains me so I can receive what restores me. You are not losing anything meant for you. You are creating space for what truly belongs in your life. Now speak this over yourself. I am worthy of peace. Again, I am worthy of peace. Not temporary peace, not conditional peace, but steady, consistent peace that does not leave me questioning my value. Let that truth replace every moment where you felt you had to earn what should have been given freely. Now say this. I am no longer confused. Say it again, I am no longer confused. What is unclear is being revealed. What is hidden is being brought into light. I walk in clarity, and clarity leads me forward. Feel the difference between where you were and where you are now. This is not the same energy. This is not the same mindset. You are shifting. Now declare this final truth with strength. I am stepping into alignment. Again, I am stepping into alignment. My decisions, my energy, and my path are coming into agreement with what is right for me. And as you speak these words, something begins to settle within you. Fear begins to lose its hold. Doubt begins to quiet. And a steady sense of knowing begins to take its place. This is not just a moment of emotion. This is a moment of realignment. And what you have just declared is not empty. It is setting something in motion. Because as you move forward from here, you will begin to see confirmation. Not forced, not imagined, but real moments in your life that reflect the shift you have just made within yourself. Pay attention to what unfolds next, because what you are about to notice will affirm everything you have just spoken into place. And as you step forward from that moment of declaration, this is where your awareness becomes essential. Because confirmation does not always arrive in loud, dramatic ways. Often, it comes quietly, subtly, through shifts that only you can truly recognize. You are not being asked to predict the future. You are being invited to notice what is already changing. One of the first signs is the breaking of patterns. The same emotional cycles that once repeated themselves begin to lose their grip. Where you once felt pulled into confusion, you now feel a pause, a space where you can choose differently. That pause is not small. It is evidence that something within you is no longer reacting the same way. Another sign is sudden clarity. Things that once felt complicated begin to feel simple. Not because every answer is laid out perfectly, but because you no longer need to overanalyze what is already being shown to you. You begin to recognize truth without needing endless confirmation. What once felt like a puzzle now feels like something you can see clearly, even if it is not what you hope to see. You may also notice emotional detachment beginning to take place. Not in a cold or disconnected way, but in a steady, grounded way. The intensity that once kept you tied to every word, every action, every shift in energy begins to soften. You start to feel less pulled, less affected, less consumed. That is not indifference. That is healing. That is your energy returning to you. There can also be unexpected revelations. Small moments where something is said, something is shown, or something is realized that confirms what you have already been sensing. These moments may not be dramatic, but they will feel unmistakable. They will carry a sense of quiet certainty that does not require you to question it. But here is what matters most. These signs are not about proving something to you. They are about aligning with what you already know. You are not waiting for permission to trust yourself. You are recognizing that you already can. And this is where the contrast becomes clear again. Before, you were surrounded by doubt, constantly questioning your own perception. Now, even in the absence of complete answers, there is a growing sense of inner certainty. It may be quiet, but it is steady. It does not rush you, but it does not leave you either. You may still have moments of questioning, and that is natural. But those moments will not hold the same weight they once did. Because alongside them, there will be clarity rising, reminding you of what you have already seen and what you have already felt. So pay attention, not with fear, but with awareness. Notice what shifts within you. Notice how you respond differently. Notice what becomes clear without effort. These are not coincidences. These are confirmations unfolding in real time. And let me ask you something to sit with for a moment. What if you have already started seeing these signs, but you have been dismissing them because they felt too subtle, too simple, or too easy to overlook? Because as you begin to recognize them, something even more powerful begins to open up. Not just confirmation of what has been, but a vision of what is now possible for you moving forward. And that is where we are about to go next. And as you begin to recognize these signs, something even more powerful opens before you, not just understanding of what has been, but a vision of what is now possible. This is where you are invited to look ahead, not with fear, not with uncertainty, but with a grounded sense of expectation that something better is unfolding. Picture yourself stepping out of the weight you have been carrying. Not rushing, not forcing, but gradually releasing it. The constant questioning begins to quiet. The emotional heaviness that once followed you through your days begins to lift. You are no longer waking up with the same tension in your chest, wondering what will happen next or how something will unfold. Instead, there is space. Space to think clearly. Space to breathe without pressure. Space to feel like yourself again, without the need to constantly adjust your emotions around someone else's inconsistency. This is the contrast you are moving into. Where there was once confusion, there is now clarity. Where there was once emotional strain, there is now steadiness. Where there was once doubt, there is now a quiet confidence that does not need to prove itself to anyone. You begin to notice how different your energy feels. You are no longer chasing answers. You are no longer trying to hold something together that required too much effort just to feel stable. Instead, things begin to align more naturally. Conversations feel clearer. Interactions feel more grounded. And most importantly, your relationship with yourself begins to feel stronger. See yourself walking forward without the weight of second-guessing every step. You trust your decisions. You trust your instincts. You trust that what is meant for you will not require you to abandon your peace in order to hold on to it. And as you continue moving in this direction, new doors begin to open. Not all at once, not in overwhelming ways, but in steady, meaningful ways. Opportunities that align with your energy begin to appear. Connections that feel genuine, consistent, and balanced begin to enter your space. You are not forcing these doors open. They are responding to the shift within you. Because when you release what is misaligned, you create space for what is aligned to find you. And what is aligned does not come with the same confusion. It does not come with constant questioning. It comes with a sense of ease, even when it requires growth. This is where restoration begins. Not just in your external circumstances, but within you. Your peace returns. Your clarity strengthens. Your energy stabilizes. You begin to feel like yourself again, not the version that was adapting and overextending, but the version that is grounded, aware, and aligned. And as you see yourself in this space, notice something important. You are not standing there empty. You are not standing there having lost something. You are standing there having gained something far more valuable, your awareness, your strength, your clarity, your ability to recognize what is right for you. You are not just leaving something behind. You are stepping into something better. Something that matches your energy instead of draining it. Something that reflects your truth instead of confusing it. Something that allows you to grow without losing yourself in the process. This is not wishful thinking. This is the natural result of alignment. When you move into truth, your environment begins to respond to that truth. So let yourself see it clearly. Let yourself feel it as if it is already unfolding, because in many ways, it already is. And as you hold on to that vision, something else becomes clear. You are not alone in this shift. There are others walking this path, others choosing clarity, others stepping into alignment. And in the next moment, you are going to be invited to anchor this not just within yourself, but within a shared space of connection and affirmation. And as you stand in this clarity, this is not a moment meant to stay silent. There is something powerful about anchoring what you have received, not just internally, but outwardly. Because when you give voice to what you believe, it begins to take deeper root within you. You are not the only one walking through this kind of awakening. There are others who have felt the same confusion, the same emotional weight, the same quiet knowing that something was not right. And just like you, they are stepping into clarity, choosing truth, and reclaiming their peace. So if this message has spoken to you, if something within you has shifted, I invite you to take a simple step. Type the word Amen. Not as a ritual, not as a habit, but as a declaration. A way of saying, I receive this. I accept this clarity. I choose to move forward in alignment. And as you type it, do not rush past the meaning. Let it reflect your decision. Let it represent the moment you chose truth over confusion, peace over attachment, clarity over uncertainty. If you feel led, you can also share a short affirmation in your own words. Something like, I choose peace, or I release what is not for me, or I trust what I feel. These are not just words. They are anchors. They help solidify the shift that is already taking place within you. Because there is a difference between going through something alone and recognizing that you are part of something greater. When you engage, when you speak, when you affirm, you step out of isolation and into connection. You begin to see that your experience is not random, and it is not isolated. There is strength in that. And if you know someone who may be going through something similar, someone who has been questioning, doubting, or feeling emotionally drained, consider sharing this message with them. Not as pressure, but as support. Sometimes the right words at the right moment can help someone see what they have been unable to understand on their own. And if you have not already, you can choose to stay connected to messages like this. Not because you need constant reassurance, but because sometimes a reminder at the right time helps you stay aligned with what you already know. But more than anything, stay present with what you have received here. Let it settle. Let it guide you. Let it strengthen you. Because what you have just acknowledged, even in a simple word, even in a quiet affirmation, may be unlocking something deeper within you than you realize. And as that begins to unfold, there is one final message waiting for you, one that will bring everything together and leave you grounded in what comes next. And now, as you come to the end of this message, take a moment to recognize how far you have already come within it. You began in uncertainty, carrying questions you could not fully answer, feelings you could not fully explain. And now, there is something different within you. Not everything has changed around you yet, but something has shifted inside you, and that matters more than you realize. You have seen what was once hidden. You have felt what was once unclear begin to take shape. You have recognized that what you were holding onto was not aligned in the way you hoped it would be. And more importantly, you have begun to understand that this revelation was not meant to harm you, but to protect you. So receive this now as a blessing over your life. May your clarity remain steady, even when emotions try to rise again. May your discernment stay strong, guiding you gently but firmly toward what is right for you. May your peace return fully, not in fragments, not in moments, but as a consistent presence that does not leave you questioning your worth. You are not walking away empty. You are walking forward aware. Aware of what you deserve, aware of what aligns with you, aware of what you will no longer accept. That awareness is not a loss, it is a foundation. It is what will shape every decision you make from this point forward. And remember this clearly. You were never meant to stay in confusion. You were never meant to carry emotional weight that did not belong to you. You were never meant to question your value in a space that could not reflect it back to you consistently. Now you are stepping into something different. Not just in your circumstances, but in your understanding of yourself. And that is where true change begins. So as you move forward from here, carry this with you. Let it guide your thoughts, your choices, your boundaries, and your expectations. Let it remind you that peace is not something you chase, it is something you align with. And as this chapter begins to close, understand that it is not an ending, it is a transition. There is more being revealed to you, more clarity unfolding, more understanding waiting to meet you at the right time. Because this was only the beginning of what you are being shown. And in what comes next, something even deeper will be uncovered, something that will help you see not just this situation, but your entire path, in a way you have never seen before.